Ciao ragazzi, my name is Anthony. This is Aqueel. It's the match preview. It's the penultimate match preview, and it comes against the team at the bottom of the table. I dare say, Aqueel, it's honestly felt like a fairy tale leading up to this point because everything has just fallen into place. Surely there's going to be no sort of heroics or theatrics, and maybe we can do this match preview next week already as champions, or if not, right on the cusp. All that matters is 3 points. Aqueel, my brother, all the way from Los Angeles, thank you for joining me. How are you, and how are you feeling about the upcoming fixture against Crotone?
Always a pleasure, man. Yeah, I'm doing really good, and I speak for the rest of the fan base as well. I think everybody's feeling good. I would say about 99% of the fans are feeling real happy, really excited for this game. And if there was any other team that I would want to play right now, it would be Crotone. So I think the stars have just aligned for us. I think it's right there on the platter. We just got to go grab it.
That's it. They're a side at the moment who doesn't mind actually expanding the pitch and actually going for it. I feel like they've all just told each other in the dressing room, hey, boys, it's been fun. Let's just keep it fun. And you know what? If you do that against us, we are not going to make it a fun day for you, cuz. You need to go out there wanting to not enjoy your football to beat Inter. You need to suffer to get a point from us. If Crotone want to go and have fun against us, well, we'll turn them into a school playground, and that'll be all she wrote. So thank you, Aqueel, for joining me, and thank you to the initial 5 people in the chat already. Marwan, good to see you again. Travel This Way says, let's go. Akeem, and it's live. Akeem, thanks for always joining us on here. I see your name regularly. So let's start to talk about the technicalities going into the game. Aqueel, we've got a full squad once again. Yeah. No injuries, bar maybe Kolarov and Vidal, who I don't think any Inter fan has actually considered them part of the squad for a long time. So definitely I haven't been in my head as part of the squad for a long time. I'm pretty confident we can go into this match playing a very strong lineup. And in terms of the threats that come from Crotone, I'm just looking, I don't see much at all. So your initial thoughts going into this lineup, wise man, before we pull up Sky Sports, anybody that you'd replace, anybody you'd take out, or, you know, absolutely no point. Put all the boys on there and let's do it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that's going to be the goal, and that's going to be the key Conte is going to be pushing for. You know, it's going to go for the full squad. I don't think he's going to change anything much because, see, the thing is, a lot of our boys are due for this big performance. You know, in recent week, we see a little bit of dip in form for Lukaku, Barella, and, you know, a couple of other players not really up to their mark. So this is the game for them. This is the game to get their forms back going into the last stretch. So I expect a full-blown lineup. I think we're going to, again, start with our 3 in the back, like, you know, it's predicted. Bastoni, Skriniar, De Vrij, the wall. We're not going to let anything go past this. I hope Handanovic has a big game. He's also due for a game. You know, he's struggling a little bit, but I think he'll come around with all that experience. He needs to, really. He's the captain. I mean, he needs to lead from the front. So, you know, he's got to do much better. Looking at the midfield, the usual suspects, Brozovic, Barella, and I think a lot of people are expecting Sensi. And that could be the case, and I would be okay with that. I think Sensi would bring a great dimension to this midfield. He always does, and he always links up really well with Barella. So I wouldn't mind seeing him. You know, Christian Eriksen is also there. I think he's also played a really good big part in this midfield. So I think this spot is up for grabs. I think Conte is going to make a very collective decision, calculated decision on this. Looking at the wingbacks, you know, Hakimi, short shot starter. He had a terrific game last time around against Crotone, scored as well. So yeah, definitely he's starting. And then on the other side, you know, again, there are a lot of options. There's Darmian, you know, who's made a real big name for himself. You know, he's come through for us in a really big way. So he's there. We have Perisic as well. So again, that position is also for grabs. I think I personally think he should go for Perisic, you know, just given the form that he's in, and keep Matteo Darmian as super sub that he's been for us in the last few games. And then our strikers, I think it's going to be Lukaku and Lautaro, unquestionable.
Absolutely, man. Couple of comments, and I'd agree with most of what you've said. This is the perfect game for Sensi to jump on and start. If he's actually feeling fit, I don't see any reason why he shouldn't. People might say, until we wrap up the Scudetto, we shouldn't make any changes in the starting 11. But Christian Eriksen is a player that Antonio Conte is already thinking about his 65th minute substitution off the pitch. So it's not like he's a player that's always going to give Conte a 90 minutes. He is not a fundamental player to Antonio Conte in this system, the same way Romelu Lukaku, Nico Barella, and Ashraf Hakimi are. He just is not. And I do think that if Sensi is fit, he does get the nod in this game. However, these are those 1 to 2 inclusions in these Sky Sports lineups that seem to be incorrect most weeks as well. So it wouldn't surprise me, Aqueel, if we go into this match and Eriksen is starting and it is Perisic on the left-hand side, because I would agree with you. If that's one thing I would do, I would not change Perisic at the moment. He has not been monumental, but he's still been a driving force, and he's actually gotten back and started to get a lot better on that defensive side. Not only that, Darmian proves when he comes on from the bench, he's an instant impact. His high-level footballing IQ for Serie A allows him in that position for Conte, allows him to get into those attacking positions when the defense is fatigued and pushing up against Inter. A lot of the time when Matteo Darmian gets subbed in, the other team is coming at us and they're starting to put pressure. Darmian is like a counter-pressure clutch sort of guy. He's going to get on there for you and neutralize the situation. And it just so happens that his form of neutralization for us have come in 2 forms of goals for Scudetto. And they've just been so clean, bro. Such clutch little crisp finishes. They've been so nice. Me personally, I would keep Darmian on the bench for the final reason. When he came off the bench against Crotone last time, the scoreline was 4-2. It ended 6-2. And Darmian had a hand in the last goal, in which he was awesome on that left-hand side. So I personally think Conte keeps Perisic there, man. I just think that's Sky Sports' way of saying Matteo Darmian has got a little bit of hype. Let's put him in the starting lineup. What do you think, man? Are you happy with that lineup? And you think whatever lineup we put out will get the job done?
That's the thing, whatever we put out, we have to win, and I think we're gonna get the job done. And with the Matteo Darmian, when he comes on in the second half, he also gives that a little bit defensive stability as well, because we know Crotone likes to play from their right side as well. Adam Unas and Junior Messias, they both play on that right side. They're both left-footed players. So when Matteo Darmian comes on, he's going to provide that defensive stability, more stability than Perisic in some ways, because he's more inclined defensively. But when he goes forward, he gets the job done. He's so sublime when he goes forward. So that is a weapon that Inter has on the bench, and they're going to utilize him on the bench just the same way as they're going to utilize Alexis Sanchez in the second half of the game. And you're 100% right about Christian Eriksen too. He's the type of player that, Conte likes to sub off after about 60, 65 minutes when he sees the game evolving a little bit. He wants to change the pace of the game, whether it's to include Gagliardini or Sensi. So yeah, I think he, to keep Sensi from the starting minute, I think it's a great idea. I think Conte would he can try that certainly in this game if Sensi's up for the task. So yeah, I'm really excited for it. I think Inter is due for a big game, and I think this is it. This is going to be their big game.
100%. Let's go to a few comments. And if you're one of the 14 people in this YouTube chat, please smash a like on the video. Or if you are in Facebook, please like that as well. Balin990 says, you like the celebration tomorrow or in the next home game? Bro, if we win the game tomorrow, I'll celebrate like we've won the title, because we're not going to drop 12 out of 12 points. This team doesn't do that. So, we've got 4 points to go. Getting it down from 4 to 1 is 99.99999 recurring percent of the job done. So if we win tomorrow, man, I'll probably be watching that Atalanta game at night with some popcorn and a beer, just going, hey, man. But Aqueel, we'll get to that actually right now.
Yeah.
I've seen a few fans say this. This team doesn't deserve to win the Scudetto all sitting at home on their phone because they can't even be hanging out together at the moment. And I get that. As much as I want to win this Scudetto like ASAP, even to the point where, no, don't even give me 4 games left after this. That makes a lot of sense. I don't know how anticlimactic it would be if Atalanta were to drop points and we were to win the Scudetto while all the guys are sort of social distancing at home, not able to celebrate. What are your thoughts on that? Would you prefer it to maybe just hang over to Sampdoria one more week?
No, I think we need to get it done. We need to get this done right here, right now. The anxiety has
been... we sound mentally sick and ill when we're this pessimistic.
Yeah, no, it's been lingering along for far too long, man. This is the time, And Atalanta is not going to have it easy. Trust me, dude. Sassuolo is playing really well.
Yep.
They can turn up, and it's going to be a high scoring game for them. And both sides like to play out, so anything can happen. As long as we win, we are almost through the door. So Atalanta game doesn't really matter, but they're going to have a tough time. No question about it.
100%. I said on Twitter this week that De Zerbi deserves some credit because at this point of the season, Sassuolo was the first team to be, safe from relegation, cemented in mid-table, fighting for Europa. They're probably the easiest scapegoat team, along with like your Hellas Verona, maybe Bologna, that would say you're allowed to slip. You're allowed to get complacent. Full credit to De Zerbi and that squad. They have maintained their integrity throughout this whole season. And if they walk away from this season only just behind Roma, I think they can look at that and go, guys, we had a really, really good season, because to be honest, they deserve to be above Roma, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a very successful season for them. I enjoy watching Sassuolo and the job the coach has done with that team and all these players that are coming together playing as a unit. It's incredible to watch.
Yeah, big comment from Marvel Lawson. Ericsson has to rest. And I would actually agree, bro. I actually think the guy has looked mentally fatigued, not necessarily physically. He's a fit player. There's nothing wrong with this guy's fitness, but this is a lot for him to take in. And I think this transition into Conte's game is constantly, like, he's not being yelled at on the pitch anymore, Aqueel, but I bet he's getting slammed behind the scenes from Conte. Not really slammed, just that constructive Conte criticism, which always comes out loud and in your face. So I think Ericsson, he has actually looked a little stressed lately, Marvel. And it's good that you've picked up on that, man, because I've been seeing it a little bit as well. Damani Norman, thanks for joining the chat. I think I've never seen this name before. If it's your first time, definitely subscribe, Moji. I don't want us to win the league this week because the players won't be able to celebrate with the fans. We deserve to celebrate. I 100% get it. But the real pessimistic Interista in me just says, you know what, just win it. And you know what? I reckon if you put Conte in the corner, he'd just tell you, what, Sampdoria? No, Sampdoria, just win it. Who cares? I don't care if I'm walking my dog. Just win it. I just want to win. I don't care.
No, this is it. This is it.
Yeah. Sensi and Perisic should start, and Damian come on to shore up the defense. Yep, 100%. Hey, Stephen Zhang, thanks for coming in, President. I'm sure you're really supporting Inter Worldwide, my guy. Funny, whoever that is. But Inter moment, I would like to celebrate ASAP, 100%. Pietro, thanks for joining again. Let's go over to this Crotone lineup before we move into some more comments. This dude, Simi, he's having such a good season. And I swear to God, man, if they're getting relegated, are you telling me they wouldn't accept something small like 13 to 15 million for this guy? Because if I'm looking at a Vice Lukaku, in terms of form, we could carry his form over to us next season. It could be an option. It could be a real low-cost option, because we know that Inter's looking for a Vice Lukaku, someone who's able to come off the bench or someone who's able to start the odd game here and there. Because let's face it, man, we have started Romelu Lukaku to the brick shithouse since he's come to this club, Aqueel. Let's talk a bit about that, man. Like, we need someone for Lukaku. Yeah. It will most likely be a Dzeko or a Giroud, but I would also take a Simi. What about you?
I would take him in a heartbeat. You know, he's having an incredible season. 19 goals for Crotone this season. And when we talk about a Weiss Icardi, I don't know why that name came out. Weiss Lukaku. Yeah, Simi has the size. He is 6'8", tall, and he's just the right type of player that Conte likes. A player that can hold the ball, run off with the ball. He has the pace. He has that flair, and he's in terrific form. And the above all, the best part about it is the price tag. You know, Crotone is going to get relegated for sure. We can get him 10, 15. Absolutely, it's a steal. You know, we can carry over his form. He can play an integral part in the team, come off the bench for Lukaku, start an odd game, like you said. It could be a viable option. Definitely someone to look into. Semi is turning into a good player.
Absolutely. Dr. Ed is in the chat, so I've got to keep his comment up there. Ed, the only guy besides Christian Rivas who from day one this year was shouting the word Scudetto with his chest. And I got to tell you, Aqueel, I don't know if I said on the match preview before, but this guy has been predicting almost every match day to a T in this group chat and it's amazing. His optimism has not failed once, so I'm backing this dude to the end. He thinks we're going to win the Scudetto this weekend. I think he thinks Atalanta is going to drop points, and if he does, he'll be getting his own other shout out again. Simi is going elsewhere next season for sure. Well, he's definitely not going to Serie B, so he's got to go somewhere next season for sure. And he's definitely going to stay in Italy. These sort of players, I don't think are going to jump ship internationally unless some sort of English team has been watching him closely. But other than that, I don't see him going anywhere outside of Italy. As well as Recca and Messias. Dude, they've got a decent team, and Messias is that type of player where, like, obviously he's not the box-to-box that Barella's going to be, but he's been a good player for them this season as well, and I think you're right there. Recca as well, who came from Spal, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't watched him much. I haven't seen much of him, honestly, this season. Every time I've looked at Crotone, I've just been watching Simi and his off-ball movements and just seeing how much he actually mimics our system to see if he's a fit. But as I said, they're a team that's going to go for it. Last time they came up against us, they scored the opening goal. I think within the first 10 to 15 minutes, we knocked two back pretty quickly. Lautaro gets the first, and the second one was an own goal set up from Barella. I'm just going off the top of my head, so I could get one of these wrong. Then, if I'm not mistaken, bloody Arturo Vidal goes in extremely late, studs up at the end of the box to make it 2-2 Crotone. I was never really worried, except this was the first time I actually did a live watch-along. And in my head, Aqueel, I'm like, if we drop points to motherfucking Crotone the first time I'm doing a watch-along, I will be livid. I'll never do it again. But then the boys finally turned up. Lautaro gets his first hat-trick. Romelu Lukaku scores that goal. I think it's Bastoni who plays the long ball to him. And he just takes the ball down and like ballerina twirls the defender. The defender tries to bear hug him WWE style. Rom just shrugs him off and slides it into the bottom corner. And
has to be one of his best goals. The way he controlled that ball, turned, and then finished it. So it was beautiful. It was lovely to watch.
Yeah, it really was. And if I'm not mistaken, Hakimi gets a goal in that game as well. So Stephen Zhang here loves the podcast, apparently. That's fantastic, bro. Thanks, Presidente. Cesare, how you going, man? Good to see you back next year. Second star day, 100%. By beating Crotone, we mathematically send them to Serie B. Yeah, look, I don't think anyone in Camp Crotone actually thinks they're going to survive. I don't think going into this game, the whole speech is, guys, we need to win this to stay up. But like, come on, man, really? You guys are not going to stay up. You need to win every game and hope that Cagliari, who's in red hot form, don't drop a point, and Torino, who don't drop a point. Or Bennett, and yeah, that's not going to happen. Sorry, guys. He's on loan from Atalanta. There you go. He's on loan from Atalanta, not Spal. So that means he's definitely something to look out for. Definitely. So in terms of Crotone and their threats, not too much. I think we'll be able to stop Simi. I think we'll be able to get the job done. Yeah. Aqueel, let's talk prediction-wise. What are you feeling for this one, and who's going to score the goals?
I'm expecting a firework from our strikers. I expect Lukaku and Lautaro to have a big game, both of them. Lukaku is due for a big game, and we've seen in the last game against Crotone, he played a beautiful game, scored and provided assists as well. So I'm expecting a big game from him. I expect 2 goals from Lukaku. I expect 1 goal from Lautaro. So my prediction is 3-0. And you know what? I'll put a disclaimer out there. It could be a blowout. It could be another 4 or 5 goal blowout in favor of Inter, but I don't see Crotone scoring at all against this defense. De Vrij has come to form in the right time. He's going to hold Simi down. Bastoni is really playing well as well, so he's going to hold that Unus down and Messias on that right side for Crotone. So yeah, 3-0 for me, no question.
I'm excited, man. I'm going to have to try and sneak in some sort of sleep, bro, because 2 a.m. in the morning, it's a very, very early game. I'll probably try and sleep beforehand, but this is the type of game where I'm going to have to agree with Aqueel, man. I want to see this game won early. I want to see a blowout. Crotone have been showing a lot of spirit, a lot of fight. You got to respect these teams. Like, you can't be sitting there hanging shit on them. Yeah, they're coming last. Yeah, they're going to get relegated, but a club like Crotone will always struggle to sustain financially without COVID and without economic crisis. And COVID hit clubs like Inter like a ton of bricks. Imagine what it's going to do to a club like freaking Crotone. And so all they have to do is try and regroup and see how they can get a top 3 spot in Serie B next season. So I hope we approach this game with a lot of respect for their ability to send the ball up quickly, for their ability to attack the opposition third and get the ball into the box, but also acknowledge the fact that they are tired, they are fatigued, and they are poor. So let's bully these guys on the break. Let's absolutely bully them and show the league why we are 1, they are 20. That is what I want to see, man. We'll go over to another couple of comments. I think they're here. Hey, Tim, what's going on, man? Good to see you as always. Pietro, let's hope this is not a gufata. Bro, let's go. Cesare, after Scudetto, we must defeat Juve at Stadium. Don't forget, please. Yes, good point. Let's talk about that for a second. Because I, for one, loved when, because I'm a part of these couple of groups where the Juve fans are very, very vocal, bro. And when they were eliminated from the Champions League, it was all, oh, I'd be scared of a Juve without Europe. I'd be scared what Juventus is going to do without Europe. And then they were starting to say things like, you know, you guys don't want to get to match day 37 only +4 or +3 because we'll be out there to ruin it for you. Bro, we are going to be the deciding factor in sending you fuckers out of the top 4. I can see it right now. We're going to be cruising along. Some of us might be hungover. Some of us might be a little bit overweight because we've started to eat the pizza and the pasta after Conte's regime. But we're going to go into that game and we're going to ransack you. I'm going to ask this question, Aqueel, because I'm not 100% sure. When you win a league title, the Guard of Honor, does that have to come from every team until the end of the season, or is it only the first game afterwards?
I think it's the only first game afterwards. Okay. But and you know, if that happens to be at Juve, I'm all for it. But you know, I want this wrapped up quickly. To be really honest, you know, it'll be a slap in their face in any case, whether it's Guard of Honor or not. It's going to be we're going to have our tails up against them, and it's going to be a great game. But I wanted this wrapped up real quick. I wanted this done this weekend. Let's finish this. Let's hope Atalanta gets held back by Sassuolo. Let's do this weekend. We don't have to look forward to, you know, getting that additional points or have that pressure on us going forward. Although, I mean, we're fine. We're still fine. But, you know, just to wrap it up quickly.
Just to wrap it up quickly, so we got one less thing in the world to worry about, man. The whole world will appear brighter and things will be normal once this is wrapped up, bro. We'll go over to a couple more comments. If anyone wants to ask any questions, we will stay on for a little bit longer, but we will start to wrap it up pretty soon. I know a win is a win, but I wouldn't be satisfied with anything less than 2 or 3-0. Same, guys. Like, you know, if you guys have been tuning into our match previews, you know, we thought we'd win more comfortably against Verona, although we were cautious. We thought we'd win more comfortably against Cagliari. And when we didn't, that's what caused the caution for Verona. There was another game in between there, I think, you know, the Spezia game as well, where we did think we'd win, but we didn't. We drew. At the end of the day, man, beating all those teams in a row, like we've said, when we went on that winning streak that included Sassuolo and Atalanta and Parma, that really set the tone. And with every win, the boys just mentally became stronger and stronger, in my opinion.
No, it's a mental thing, you know, and Conte talks about this every time when he speaks to the media or talks to, like, you know, in front of anybody. You know, he says that, you know, these majority of these guys haven't had this, they haven't been in this position ever. You know, they haven't tasted this winning the title so close. They're so close to it. So obviously there's pressure, and everybody agrees. Even Barella, just yesterday, he spoke to Sky Sports and he said, you know, yes, we haven't been our best, but we're getting the job done. We're playing, we're coping with the pressure. We're listening to our coach and staff, and we're getting there, and we're playing, we're getting the results. So yeah, we've had a little bit of a patch, but we were cautious. You know, the Verona game, we played to our strength. This is the game that we need to really come out and put up a dominant performance. This is the team to do it. And if we do it against this team, next up is Sampdoria. It'll give us a lot of boost and confidence going into that game, and then in the final stretch as well. So this is the game that really needs as a step up stool to run into that extra last stretch. So I expect a big game from us. I expect Conte to talk to these boys and tell them, hey, take this seriously, get in there, get the job done, get it done in a nice, dominant fashion. It's going to be a good game. I'm expecting a big game from Lukaku, Barella, Hakimi, Lautaro, everybody.
Yeah, 100%, man. It should be big. Pietro says, do you think Zhang will sell? Zhang's in the chat right now, man, so you might as well just ask him directly. Zhang says, would you rather see Milan or Juve go to Europa League, and who do you think will make top four in the end? I'm still a little bit iffy with which one, because we should say Juve. Of course, we should say Juve. It's a luxury that we never saw coming. But the Milan fans and how they've acted this season, like, no one is more deserving to be disappointed, and that's what I want to see. Aqueel, what's your answer to that question?
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting Milan to crash out. They had a decent season in the beginning, but it was due for a downfall. I mean, I'm sorry to say that, but it was due that they would crash. My four, I've always said Atalanta would make strides like 10 weeks before, and they're in the second position right now. They're playing really well. I see Napoli playing really well. I think they're going to stay in the top four. And, I think Juve will also make it to top four. I mean, sadly so, but, if you're looking at really, like, statistically and realistically. So I expect Inter, Atalanta, Napoli, and Juve to be in the top four.
Yeah, that would be exactly my pick as well at the moment, to see how things are going. Robbie, how you going, man? Thanks for joining. Big team attitude is to try and win every game. My prediction is Inter winning the league officially versus Sampdoria. It's looking like the most likely option if Atalanta turn up. Speaking of Verona, sorry if it's been asked, but what's your opinions on the goal they scored that didn't count? I think we spoke about it a little bit during the week, and on the podcast, the boys mentioned it as well. Shout out to them for doing that podcast. For me, it's, if the rule says you can't obstruct the goalkeeper, then it's a foul. But it solidifies our concerns about our goalkeeper and his current abilities at his age. If this happened to a goalkeeper who was in form, you look past it and you probably get up and scream and go, hey, ref, come on, what the fuck is that? Our reliable goalkeeper just got knocked. But ours is not a reliable goalkeeper. And it was a soft knock. And, like, you saw Bastoni and De Vrij's reaction. That was so funny. I must have opened those memes and those videos about 30 times that day. Aqueel, your thoughts on that whole situation?
Look, he was waiting to draw the foul. And, as an experienced goalkeeper, you're supposed to draw the foul. But that the ball is in your grasp. You need to raise your arm and grab the ball and then draw the foul. You can't wait for the ball to come down to your chest, because had that, I mean, if I think it was Faraoni, I think if he had climbed anywhere above Handanovic and he would have got anywhere close to the ball, it could have been anything. It could have been a goal. So yeah, it was, a foul, because obstructing a goalkeeper is a foul in any fashion. But as a goalkeeper, you've got to use that experience. Just raise your arms, grab the ball before it reaches, and then draw the foul. You wanted to draw the foul, right? So do it, but do it in the right way. In any sport, I mean, we look at NBA, when a shooter is drawing a foul, they still shoot the ball to get that extra point, and then they draw the foul and get to the free throw. So it's a basic principle. You have to collect the ball comfortably and then draw the foul. So yeah, his confidence is really shaky, man, and it's worrying me. I know the boys talked about it in the podcast, and everybody's talking about it. This is something that we need to address, and something to really look at in the off season and see what are the options out there. I know Andanovic is 36, his contract expires in 2022, but we need to start thinking about a replacement for him.
Definitely. Tim says Napoli has the easiest run too. They definitely have the easiest run on paper, but we're in that period of the season where there's no such thing as an easy game. Rabi, do you think Lukaku will be the top scorer, or is this title is not interesting enough after winning the Serie A? No, definitely. Whenever he's on the pitch, he'll want to score. But if we wrap this up sooner rather than later, like, our players will get the rest they deserve. Your Lukaku's, De Vrij's, Bastonis, your Skriniars, your Hakimis, Barellas, they will all get the rest that they deserve. Conte will still put out a decent lineup capable of winning every game, because he's the type of coach that wants to, like, break points records and stuff like that. He's a winner. He's not just going to rest, but he will give the rest to the players who have barely gotten a wink of rest all season. That's just my opinion. What about you, Aqueel?
Yeah, definitely. He's gonna start. He's gonna play Lukaku every minute if he if he knows Lukaku can. And we have seen Lukaku has been doing that, all season long. Is he going to finish in the top? He could. Again, Lukaku is the type of player that doesn't take long to get on the scoring sheet, and he can score multiple times in a game. So it could be 1 or 2 game, and he's right there. It'll take just a moment. It'll be a tough battle for the top. But I know he's an MVP.
Yeah, awesome. Well said.
21 goals. Nobody comes close.
Isn't that 3 games in a row that Hunter put the ball in our own net? I don't know if it's 3 games in a row, but he's definitely been the culprit. That's 100% sure. Stephen Zhang says, Cesare, I will do that to you in reply to President. We want Cancelo and Rafinha back. I'd take João Cancelo back, but there's no need for him when you've got a player like Hakimi. Hakimi is just an upgrade on him, in my opinion. And in terms of Rafinha, I was in love with him when he was here. But I think we're past that stage now of needing those sort of injury-prone players. Gerald says Gosens or Telles. Trust me, we're not going for Alex Telles. He just signed for Manchester United. Gosens is the guy. He should be our main target. If he goes to Juventus, I will be pissed off because they don't need him. They've got Alexandro. If they are going to sign Gosens, they're only doing it to keep him away from us. So he should be the main target for us. Guys, let us know what you thought of the video. Drop your predictions in the comments. One more question coming in. I'll stay on for that. My boy Tim. If you guys had 2 reasonable signings, who would you bring in? Number 1 for me is Gosens. Number 2 is probably De Paul. And I know that some fans say, we don't necessarily need De Paul. Our midfield is stacked. Is he really going to sit the bench? Is Sensi going to sit the bench? Is Eriksen going to sit the bench? Blah, blah, blah. Guys, in my opinion, we're getting rid of 2 or 3 or 4 midfielders in João Mario, in Nainggolan, in Vidal, in Vecino, potentially even Gagliardini. I don't really know. But if we're really serious about winning another Scudetto and winning it comfortably, you make sure you've got a starter on the bench, in my opinion. If we're going to be in pot A of the Champions League, rotating heavily, you need starters on the bench. What do you reckon, Aqueel? If we've got the money, go and get De Paul, bro.
Yeah. No, I will echo your comment. Left wing back, number 1, for sure. Gosens' top choice. And I think we will push for him. And he will not come cheap. But, if we have to splash some money because, we're going to sell a lot of players, I think we can raise that cash. De Paul, I like the guy. I think, he may not start every game. He might not break the starting 11, but you need quality on the bench, right? I mean, you need players that can play at the same level when you sub them in, or when you play them in a different competition. You don't want to lower your bar or lower your level. You want to keep up to your level. You want to raise your bar. So Paul is a great option. Again, he will not come cheap, but we are on good terms with Udinese. We've dealt with them a lot of times in the past, and I think Marotta is going to strike out some genius deal by sending a player and cut down his total cost. And I think we can get him. I think we can strike a deal, and I think those 2 will be my top two priority picks.
Yeah, awesome. All right, we're going to pretty much finish up there. Fades says there were rumors about Asa Mendy. Are they true? Not 100% sure, bro. The 29-year-old, I know that plays for Real Betis. He's more predominantly a right back and sometimes shifts into centre back, man. So I don't really see a reason for us to go for him. I would rather go for someone like Gerald is saying, like Tagliafico, left back, Argentine, plays for Ajax, has got a lot of experience and can probably adapt well. If he's played for Ajax, he'd have great discipline. And, that's a club that really, really promotes discipline and unity, which, what better club to come into for discipline and unity right now than Inter. So Tagliafico, if he is the backup for Gosens or the second choice, I can get behind that as well, man. Aqueel, thank you so much. You gave the 3-0, you said, right?
3-0 it is, yes.
All right, cool. I'm gonna go full-blown optimism mode and go 4. I reckon we can score 4 goals. It's gonna be like one of those Genoa games that we smacked them up in the last 2-3 years or something like that. So I'll go Lautaro 1, Lukaku 2, and Sanchez gets a goal off the bench. All is well, all is happy, and we can start scheduling the Inter Worldwide Scudetto parties online. Aqueel, thank you so much for joining me, brother. Until next time, Forza Inter.
Forza.
Ciao.